Hello and welcome to the 8th day of March 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation, an exercise that I do to remind myself of my life objectives and principles and to see how I'm doing applying these to the challenges of the day. So last night and yesterday, usual night, although I was up wide awake at 3 a.m., I was able to get back to sleep by 4. It's interesting, yet last night's insomnia was a little unusual as there wasn't really any tinge of anxiety. I didn't worry about anything. Really, I don't have anything to worry about. I mean, work is going smooth. I have no Japanese debt like in yesterday's video. I will have no debt really. I just have the monthly credit card that I pay off every month. So there's not that to worry about. My health is good. So instead of fussing, I just was simply awake. I guess that's insomnia in the truest sense, right? Not any anxious insomnia. Well, so what to do about it? I'm going to look into it. I promised. I said so. I would do so yesterday, but I didn't. But I'm going to look into it. I'll try to get to the bottom of this. As for yesterday, another solid day of work. I mean, I really got a lot. It was done. It was a Monday. That's why my mind had nothing to worry about. I mean, I just Ralph Waldo Emerson writes in Self-Reliance about how we are not happy, we are anxious with ourselves. He doesn't use that word. I wish I could speak it as well as he wrote it. Something to the effect of we're uneasy when we don't do our good job, but if we do our work well, then our satisfaction seems to fall into place. And I was just reading yesterday, Samuel Johnson was writing something of along those same lines about being well occupied. And I was well occupied yesterday. I've been well occupied for the last a week of work, and the fruits are that I don't have much to worry about with regard to work. Yet I still wake up. Maybe I should go to bed later. I go to bed some might think it's early. I'm winding down by 8:30 p.m. In the summer months, I have to close the drapes because the sun's still out, and I'm usually asleep by 9 or 9:15. Maybe I just don't need that much sleep anymore. But if I don't get that full night's sleep, I don't feel good. But I lost an hour of sleep last night, yet I feel good this morning. It's a puzzle. Okay, let's do the good life. Excuse me. My 7 objectives and 30 principles. I want to live my life in such a way that I'm ready to not be here, that my family are in good shape, that I leave them with something to get by, that they know that I love them and that my life's work is complete and resting upon a shelf for my daughter to find and maybe hold on to for a generation or two. And to not waste my time, but to be focused and making a concerted effort to live well, whether that be during the hours of work or leisure. And to work hard at developing and maintaining my catalog of objectives and principles so that they are well made and well reasoned and at ready grasp when I need them. To be the type of person who doesn't fly off the handle, or who even lets his emotions take the rein, but instead who guides his life and maintains control over emotions, letting my willful consciousness have the upper hand. To do good things throughout the day. And to know where my limits are and what opportunities are genuinely within my reach. And to never multitask, doing always just one thing at a time and doing that thing slowly. And to be always at war with everything that I hold true and everything that others propose to be true, if it seems important. And to use reason as my arbiter of that truth. Being honest, forthright, objective, and always the skeptic. To remember that I don't have a soul, that I do get to have a consciousness for the years that I'm alive, and that I can make good use of that during those years. It won't be available to me after I'm dead, but then nothing will, apparently. And to remember that each of us is ultimately quite alone between our ears, here within our skulls, for the time that we're here. And to remember that right and wrong, good and evil, are ultimately mere opinions, subjective to the core, yet taking on the appearance of objectivity when these opinions are in alignment with the facts of the world, and especially when others agree with what we're saying, what we propose to be true, good, or bad. And to have some purpose in my life, namely, in this order, to be a good father and husband, to be a good citizen, although those two are part and parcel, aren't they? And then to have some mission in life. My mission is to, at this point, to continue the first two items, but then also my personal mission is to share my book going along, where these objectives and principles are laid out and explained. To remember that everything is made of little bits and pieces. It all boils down to atoms, which are of different types and change their arrangement and constitute different things depending on this arrangement. And to remember that free will seems to be an illusion, something we grasp at to think that our lives are somehow our own, when really we're just part of a larger complex chemical reaction, and we're fizzing away in our own little space, jostled by so much that goes on around us, almost to the point that we think that our decisions are our own, but really we're just consciously seemingly moving in the directions of, it's not necessarily resistance, but it is. It's like where the universe has less pressure. It doesn't come out right because it makes it sound like it's the easy route, and we often choose the difficult route. But that difficult route, in many ways, might be the less pressure, the lot of least pressure. We're kind of, pushing into a vacuum, the way a storm is sucked into a low area of low pressure. And then we are mature when we remember our successes and failures and have the strength to do better. We need each other, and I want to be someone who communicates carefully, chooses good words, relevant words, forms tight sentences, effective paragraphs, and then communicates that carefully, slowly and deliberately. And then on another point, to never be a gossip, because that's a grave sin. To be temperate, to control my appetite and more importantly, my actual consumption. Because despite my appetite, I may choose to abstain, which takes some willpower and force. It's like lifting weights. It gets stronger the more we do it. And to remember that life is a pretty scary place with awful things happening all around us. I'm safe right now. My family is safe in our little shelter here. But the horror will get in here too. No one ever really gets a rest from it for too long. And as a result, since we choose not to escape, to hide away, because we can't really run, I want to bear the weight and the responsibility that I maintain, that I've decided to take on. My responsibilities as a husband and a father and a citizen, an employee, all of those things. And then to not fly off the handle in such a way that I'm spewing my upset into the world, or at all, for that matter. I like to not fly off the handle at all, but that's a tricky one, to not do it in such a way that you're not, vomiting my upset to the world. And because we do that as humans, and sometimes, and then when others do it, to not consume that, because it's a poison of sorts. And to be aware of the temptation for distraction, to use my work or my leisure time, my reading even, as a distraction from the awful indifference that seems to yawn behind everything. And to be okay where I am now, and doing what I'm doing right now, and being who I am right now. And to be always ready to embark again on the path of wildness, which is the way forward out of a current life into a new life. A considered direction that comes from our understanding of our options, some good deliberation, and maybe a little gut instinct, coupled with the courage and the motive force of forward motion, knowing that we could indeed be making a mistake. But likewise, I needed that extra hour sleep. Likewise, it could be a mistake to not go. to remember to attend to both the challenges and risks of creating a stable family for my wife and daughter, of being that for them through education and career, hard work, savings, etc. And then also to remember to attend the deeper challenge of life, of finding myself and doing something about that. That's a thing. It's a real thing, especially if you feel drawn to it at a young age. It doesn't seem to go away. It can only be met, not avoided. And to be honest, not too hasty to believe, to be suspect of huddling around the empty illumination of hope, to recognize faith as a sin, where belief supported upon belief is rather an empty structure. To be suspect of authority, and to be discount dogma as a fuel running on its own fumes. To require more of truth than tradition or authority in a loud voice. To never ever gossip. The consequence of all of these things is a form of damnation in the here and now. And to remember that after life there appears to be nothing. We won't see our loved ones again. We won't have a chance to make amends. And there will be no justice. Any crimes that are not punished during life are gotten away with of a sort, although there will be no one to enjoy the fruits of that success, or the pain that comes of a tormented conscience. We need to be with our people and reconcile and try to make things right now and while we have the chance. To have one or more great adventures in my life, something to rest my hat on and call my own. And then to record any thoughts that are related to consequential of that experience, or others like it, or any at all. And to remember to record those thoughts when they come, because they tend to go. To remember that life is an effort to strike the bullseye, but we often miss. And that we're always climbing up, 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 up. Or at least we can if we want to. Some choose not to. They'll dig a little hobbit hole in the side of the mountain where they find themselves early in life and remain there for good. It's a fine life, a snug life, but rather low and dull vista to look out on. Climbing yields a greater vision, more to see, in more refined air, but it's hard and exposed, and there's some danger associated with it, but no more than the other route. The other one's not even a route; it's just digging in. Life is an arena where we get to use our best practices to try to live better. And almost by definition, a simple life is a better life. And it's good to remember to have a good time. Okay, that's my good life meditation. Now, as for today, I have 2 meetings today. and I'm going to try to keep up the pace of the really good work that I've been doing lately. And the things that I want to do are to get someone, solicit the team in one of the projects, solicit the team to find someone to substitute two of the classes that I was going to teach, because Yumiko and I are coming up on our anniversary, and I want to take her away for a couple weeks. There's that. I want to solicit the team. I want to, that sounds bad, to solicit the team for a replacement. I want to have a good meeting with the project manager from the vendor. And then the main thing I'm going to do today is review that contract. I am going to do that. I'm going to set that as a goal today, to review that contract. Oh, and read the comments that one team member left from the governance document that I created. And if I can't, and also add a new section to that document. That I'll do. Those are the 4 things I'm going to do. Let me review them again. I'm going to solicit the team, have the meeting with the PM, update the governance document, and finish reviewing the contract, and to extract out the scope. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Thanks for joining me. Be safe, but not too safe.